So, one thing you wouldn't know from the 1-minute story that I told, and from those of you who've chatted with me, and the fact that they're announcing an event that I'm organizing called the Smut Slam, one thing you wouldn't know from all this is that I'm thinking about converting to Islam. At least that's what my mother-in-law thinks. I met a lovely Bangladeshi man through the powers of Craigslist 10 years ago. Casual encounters, thank you, Craigslist. And married him 5 years later, and his mom doesn't know about any of that. She thinks that we met someplace nice and tidy at like a party somewhere. And he worked on her. He spun the situation so to make me seem like the ideal daughter-in-law. He basically held out way past the age where people are supposed to get married in Bangladesh, held out a long time, went out on a lot of abortive dates with parentally approved people. And then when she was getting desperate, then he kind of laid me on her like that, and she went for it because she was desperate to have a daughter-in-law. And this would be fine because she lives in Bangladesh and I live here, and that's a long way away, and you can lie about a lot from like 7,000 miles. You can lie about a lot. But inevitably there's going to be visits home, right? There's got to be visits. I've got to meet the family. And all this talk about like families, extended families that we're talking about here with holiday stories, you don't know extended families, people. You don't know extended families. And this is what I found out. Like, I come from a Mormon family, so there's extended families and there's genealogy reports to back that shit up, right? I thought I knew extended families, but I go back to visit his folks 5 years ago. Yeah, about 7 months after we got married. His mom wanted to throw the parties for us that are obligatory with Bangladeshi marriages. And normally that would run 5 parties, 5 days in a row. We got away with 2 in 7 days, so I feel really lucky about that. And his family, of course, is extended, and the truth is they have not only like records for it, but they have separate words in the Bengali language for all these different people. So along with learning basic Bengali, I had to learn what it means, a third cousin twice removed on the father's side. There's an actual word for that, which I don't remember. So I went over there expecting, well, I'm going to have to do the pretty, I'm going to have to get dressed up. I didn't have to get dressed. I had to let other people dress me. And they treated me like their own Barbie doll, because there aren't a lot of honkies over there. There's not a lot of white people over there. I mean, yes, they are there, but they have like this long post-colonial kind of baggage to go with it, so they don't hang out there very much. And so I went there, and they dressed me up like the bride that they all wanted, that his mother had been saving saris for 30 years. And I got to wear all of that, which was really oppressive in a certain way, because I'm not a sari and jewelry-wearing type of girl, clearly. So I got dressed up and I sat around and I would, say hi to people in my limited Bengali and do all this wonderful stuff. And what I didn't realize going over there, and what I don't think my husband told me, I'm not sure why he didn't, is that we were going at a major holiday time with Eid, Ramadan. There was like Ramadan happening. And I didn't have any cultural context to put this in at all. I just went over there and everyone's like, oh, Eid Mubarak, it's Ramadan. I didn't know what that meant at all. I just sat around in my bridal clothes and looked festive. But what it really meant, and here's what it really meant for me, is that we're in his mother's apartment in the middle of Dhaka, which is 16 million people. It's a huge city, all right? 16 million people, not nearly enough taxi cabs, not hardly any cars, but lots of goats. Because in Ramadan, they make sacrifices. This is very close to one of the Jewish holidays, I think, where you go, it's like celebrating God, like substituting a goat or a ram for one of the sons, right? Is this ringing any bells? Yeah. All right, so I don't know. So it's all about like sacrifice. And if you've got the money, you're going to sacrifice whatever you can afford. So it could be a camel. Camels are halal, that's good. Or it could be a cow if you're really well off. Most people had goats. And all I saw for the 2 weeks that I was there were people around the streets trotting along strings of goats, like dog walkers. Strings of goats, 50, 100 at a time, walking along major thoroughfares. They were going out to different houses that were going to get like sacrificed at, right? And for those, 2 weeks, all you heard at night, okay, you heard the prayers in the night and the morning, and you heard goats. Goats, like all day, like the tens of thousands of goats for this holiday. And then, as the time came and Ramadan came along, the night before, it reached a fever pitch. Goats, goats, and they were hungry because you gotta starve them. You gotta fast the goats to make sure the meat's good. The next morning, silence. All the goats. And they come around with plates to different people's houses. You give away a quarter of it to your family. You give away a quarter of it to your friends. You donate a quarter of it to charity. Silence of the goats. And I left Bangladesh with one important cultural understanding of what Ramadan really is. It's a meat Christmas. It's meat Christmas, people. Presents of meat at your doorstep. It was beautiful. Thank you.